Hello, Jen here with a mini tag album for the Shotz Facebook group October challenge. Every month the Facebook group does a different challenge with a technique or a product or something along those lines that you can come and play along with. And this month for October we are doing embossing. So heat embossing, dry embossing, manual embossing, is that what you would call it if you have an embossing tool and you draw on the paper yourself and emboss it? Any type of embossing that you would like to do, you are welcome to join in, play along, share your creations in the album in the Facebook group. The link is down below, so please go and join. And yeah, we're just challenging ourselves to do all the embossing we can. So I don't do a lot of embossing folders. I guess that's the dry embossing. It's just not something I do. I do have a grand caliber manual machine. And I have a couple of embossing folders, but I find the machine just really big and kind of cumbersome, and so I don't always pull it out. And yeah, I don't use it as much as I should. But I love to heat emboss, and I definitely want to get better at doing that. I have shared my struggles. I have showed them all to you on this channel many times before. I am a messy heat embosser, and I don't always do it the way you see the super uber professionals do it, especially a lot of the card makers that you see doing it all the time. That is not me, but I love doing it, and I always love the projects that I create when I add heat embossing to them. And I'm now on the Emerald Creek design team, so I should probably work at getting a little bit better because I'm going to be playing with a lot of Kim's amazing, gorgeous embossing powders, and I want to do it justice for her. So I went with heat embossing, and I'm going to do a few different techniques, or I guess it's the same technique, but I'm going to use a few different mediums to emboss on. So that's always fun for me, just kind of experimenting and seeing what I can do with the embossing powders and how they melt and how they work on different textures and stuff like that. So the first thing that I have to do to get started is cut up my tags from my tag sheet. So this is the Acorn Lane collection from Simple Stories. I got it from Shotz from their store. The link for them is also down below, so you can go and check them out and do a little bit of shopping. They're a fantastic Canadian online scrapbooking store. I got this from Scrapaganza. That was a couple weekends ago, a Friday, Saturday crop. I've posted all kinds of social media stuff about how much fun we had there, but I scooped up this collection. I got the papers, and I got the foam stickers, and I got the chipboard stickers. So, and the paper collections come with the 12 by 12 sticker sheet. So I got a pretty good sampling of this collection. And of course it has this gorgeous tag sheet in it that I am absolutely loving playing with. So in August, I created from another Simple Stories collection, the Little Things collection. I created a little mini album using the tags for a trip that we went on. And as soon as I saw the tag sheet in this collection, I thought, this is what I want to do my I almost said December daily. No, my October daily with. So that's what I'm creating, is my October daily. And I'm going to put this little mini album together, kind of have my pages ready to go. And then all I need to do is add my photos as I take them all month long. I'm going to be playing along with the Creative Scrapbooker magazine daily prompts, the photo prompts. I've posted that on my Instagram, so please go and check that out. It is Kay's Mom. I'm Kay's Mom on there as well. You can go and check it out and see all my pictures. I don't know if I'm going to post all of my pictures daily on my Kay's Mom account. I am posting them daily or maybe every other day on my family account, my GC Family Adventures account. So you can check that out too. I'd love for you to follow me there as well and help me boost my numbers on that one. but definitely you'll be able to see the prompts and the links to Creative Scrapbooker magazine if you kind of want to play along too. So those are the photos I think I'm going to be including in my October daily. There'll probably be some other ones, and I can always add more tags as I go. But for now, I just wanted to kind of create the base pages for most of the month, just one for each day of the month. So I cut out all of the tags. There were 15 tags. And then I went back in and found some Halloween papers so I could have some more Halloween themed ones for the end of the month, and just a couple other papers. I even used the front cover. I don't know if you noticed that, but I used the front cover and got a couple little chunks to make tags with the patterns that you see on that front cover. And I also thought it kind of gave like a cool glossy texture that's a little bit different from the paper texture that I have. So that was kind of fun. Definitely a great way to stretch this collection and have a little bit more wiggle room and, use up everything, right? Look at that pumpkin. He's so cute. I love how these little pumpkins turned out. So let me talk about the embossing, because that is the highlight of this project. I decided, for me personally, I love embossing on wood veneer. So that's the first thing I'm doing here. I pulled out some wood veneer, these cute little jack-o'-lanterns. I have some bats, and then I also have some acorns. And I really enjoy watching the embossing powder kind of melt on the wood, and just the way that they look like something totally different than wood veneer when they're all done. So I pulled out a bunch of my older Emerald Creek embossing powders. This one, actually, this orange one, that was made exclusively for Wild Whisper by Kim at Emerald Creek. And it's kind of yellowy and orangey and has big chunky glitter in it. So it's lots of fun to play with. I added a couple layers. So the nice thing about when you're embossing on wood veneer is that it actually heats up the wood, and so the embossing powder stays melty a little bit longer. So I melt one layer, dip it right back in to add more powder on, and then melt it again. And I just kind of keep going till I have kind of the texture I'm looking for, because these embossing powders are quite textured. Like intentionally they're textured. And so I'm looking for that right texture and the right kind of, concentration of color. And so I just keep doing that until they look how I want them to look. Here you can see with the bats, this is actually a Recollections, just jet black embossing powder. So it's more of that kind of classic smooth, shiny kind of finish to it. But I still did 2 coats, because I do find with wood veneer, it will absorb some of that color. And so you might not get quite as much of a concentrated color as you're hoping for, or quite as much coverage. So I often do 2 coats just to kind of see if I can bump up that coverage a little bit. You could always paint them ahead of time with maybe some acrylic. I have done that, and the acrylic will bubble a little bit. So you have to be careful not to overheat them. The paint will definitely bubble, but it does also stop the wood veneer from kind of absorbing a little bit too much. So once I did my wood veneer, I also added some little like stickles to the top of the jack-o'-lanterns to give their little stems. So I thought that was really cute too, and brings in again another kind of texture. So that was really fun. So I wanted to try experimenting with some stickers. I have done heat embossing on paper stickers. I know how those react, but I wanted to try these kind of puffy, plasticky stickers. They're from Dollar Tree, so I figured if I ruin them, it's okay. I'm only ruining a couple of stickers from a pack of stickers that only cost me $1.25. So my feelings wouldn't be hurt, but also I have 2 packs of them. So I thought, even if I use up a couple of these leaves and they don't turn out really well, I have a whole other pack of them. So I wasn't too worried. Definitely a good tip if you're going to experiment with things that you're not too concerned about losing, or that you have backups to, because sometimes with heat, you just don't know how the material might react. But what I was hoping for was that it would melt the plastic a little bit and kind of curl them to give the leaves a little bit of movement and texture. And that's exactly what happened. I was so excited. So you can see here, I did 2 in a beautiful navy blue color, and I did 3 in this more kind of teal color. Both of those embossing powders have some chunkiness to them, and they definitely have some texture, but they also melt really nice and smooth. So I just love how they turned out, and my leaves now have personality to them. Be very careful. You could definitely over melt them. And I have my work surface protected with a Teflon mat. I just got those off of Amazon, and they're just like the oven liner Teflon mats. So they work really good for heat embossing, just to protect things. And so, if stuff gets a little bit too heated up, or it kind of gets goopy or melty, my desk is kind of protected that way. But just watch, because obviously with heat, things can turn from okay to not okay really quickly. I also use coffee filters because I'm not a professional embosser. I definitely don't have, like you watch some of the card makers like John McGuire, and they have embossing powder in their Tupperware containers, because they're using so much of it that they kind of use their Tupperware containers so they contain their mess. I don't have any of that. I definitely don't use enough of any one color to have it in a Tupperware container. So I'm using a little coffee filter. I do get some dust blowing all over and, that kind of thing. But for the most part, I just try to keep everything contained and just keep things out of the way that I don't want to have melted. Big tip. If you don't want something to melt, move it from your area, because those heating tools can get pretty hot. And when you're trying something new, just, be prepared that it might melt quicker than you think, or it might do something or smell, or, that kind of thing. But I definitely advocate for experimenting and seeing, and I love doing that. And so this experiment worked well. I love my leaves. I think they turned out beautifully. I'm a little bit concerned that the embossing powder might actually peel right off of the sticker, but so far it hasn't. It's adhered really well to the surface of the sticker. So I'm just going to keep hoping that that's how they stay. But they are super beautiful. You'll see some other close-ups too, because I'm so proud of them. And I just really love how they turned out. So those were the other kind of item that I embossed. And then here you can see I'm doing some of that classic stamping and embossing right onto paper. So I do have my embossing ink, and then I have an embossing dauber, and I kind of use those depending on what I want to be embossing. The dauber works really good for the wood veneer, because the wood veneer will soak up some of that. It's like an adhesive, right? So it kind of soaks up the tackiness a little bit. So you kind of want a little more concentration on the wood veneer themselves, versus obviously using your stamps here. You don't want to have this big gushy dauber getting the kind of sticky ink all over the place. So yeah, I don't have very many tools, but I've kind of learned the things that work well for me. The other thing is I don't have an embossing pen, which I think is probably a good investment for someone like me, because I kind of, I go off on my own paths sometimes, like I'm doing right here. I really wanted to have little ghosts on this tag, and I couldn't find any in my stamp sets. So I just pulled out a little detail brush and dipped it into my ink pad and made my own little ghosts. So I kind of made the shape of them, and then here you can see I'm just taking the tip of that brush and putting some little eyes in there so that they look like little ghosts. And so yeah, I think probably You could do it this way or use a pen, and kind of that gives you the opportunity to maybe write stuff or anything like that. But yeah, that's kind of it for me. I don't know what else to say about my embossing. I make messes. I'm not perfect. I'm not a professional, so when you think about like Christina Werner and Jennifer McGuire and all of those people that you see doing this on a regular basis, remember that they are professionals. They do this for a living. They practice every day. They go to workshops. They strive to be perfect at doing this because they're showing you the best of the products that they're using, and they're highlighting them in kind of the best way possible, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're professionals. So don't give yourself a hard time if you struggle with this kind of thing. Have fun, be prepared, understand that you might get messy, have some baby wipes ready. Look at how beautiful that is. That leaf turned out so gorgeous. Have some baby wipes ready and go for it. That's what I say when it comes to heat embossing. Also, follow me for more tips, because I am going to be sharing my learning process while I'm on the design team. Anytime I pick up a tip, I will share it with you guys. If you have heat embossing tips, leave them for me down below as well. I would love, love, love to hear them. One other thing I wanted to say is those cute little acorns that I made. I just put the dauber on the edge and dipped those right into the container because it was a small little area, and that was just the easiest thing to do. But that embossing powder smells like maple syrup. It is so yummy, and it stays scented forever. It smells so good. I have a couple things that I did like 4 years ago. I sent them all the way up to Creative Scrapbooker magazine. They had, people handling them. It was in the magazine. I got it back in the mail, and it still smells like maple syrup. So super delicious. I just wanted to point that out. Also, you could see I did multiple layers of that brown color because it was also absorbing a little bit into the wood veneer. But yes, that is what I wanted to tell you. Did I mention with wood veneer and also with the stickers that when you melt it, it stays warmed up a little bit, and so you can actually melt it and then quickly dip it back into the powder and then, remelt it. I think I did. This has been a longer voiceover than I normally do, so I'm forgetting what I said at the beginning. But anyways, so once I got all of that embossing done, all of my cards were cut out. I literally just started with my first card. I picked the one I wanted to be my title, like my first cover tag. And then I went through, and with each card, I just found a couple of stickers, or maybe one of the, chipboard stickers or a puffy sticker. Nothing too complicated. I just wanted every card to somehow be touched by some sort of embellishment. There you saw I added a bit of a pocket with that fabric. That's like a canvas fabric that I put into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for September. I added that to one of them so I can add my pictures in behind into that little pocket. Maybe I can pick that one for a day where I have a couple of pictures that I want to print out. I didn't do a ton of that here. As I say, I didn't do a ton of that. Here I am making another one. This is another piece of kind of a burlap fabric that was also in that kit. I was making this in September, so that's why the September kit was right in front of me. But for this one, the A side has a pumpkin spice latte, so I thought I'm going to do a little coffee sleeve type decoration on the back of this, and then I can slip some of my photos somehow into that little sleeve. So on a couple of them I went a little bit more detailed and did, a few extra things, but most of them I just kept really simple. I looked at the card, found a sticker, plonked that sticker down. Now I did use my baby powder tool. You can kind of see it up in that top right hand corner. I do use that on the stickers. You'll see me do it again, But essentially, I only want the stickers to stick down enough that they stay on the tag, but I want to be able to lift them and kind of squish some of my photos and things into them. So I didn't want to fully stick a sticker down and then later on when I'm trying to add the pictures realize that I couldn't pull them up. So I used the baby powder to take the stickiness off of most of the sticker and just kind of picked one edge where I thought I could safely put the sticker down and took the stickiness off everywhere else. So you'll see me do it with this scarf. I'm okay with the scarf kind of sticking where the yellow part of that tag is, but I wanted to be able to lift up the rest of it so that I can stick my photo underneath and then I can adhere it back down over top of the photo when the time comes. Same with those little pumpkins I'm putting down right now. I literally just put a little bit of wet glue down on the very bottom edge so they flip up a little bit so I can tuck my picture in and then stick them down. With this chipboard, I just peeled back one little section of the backing, but I didn't peel the whole backing off. So it's stuck down in just one little spot. And then once I get my photo in place, I can peel the rest of the backing off and keep it stuck down. So pretty basic embellishments and just kind of keeping in mind that I don't know exactly what pictures are going to go onto each of these, but I have a general idea because of the size of the picture and the size of the tags where, most of the pictures are going to go. I did it again with this little border strip at the bottom so that I could tuck a photo in there. And, you know, if I need to go back and I totally change my mind about something, I can always glue them down again. Wet adhesive especially will work well on where the stickiness has been taken off with the baby powder. So I'm not too worried about that. It just gives me a little bit of flexibility and it means that I have these bases mostly embellished and I don't have to worry about starting all over again once I have my pictures printed out. So quick and easy. Even on that jack-o'-lantern, I only put glue on the very left-hand edge, and so it is not completely stuck down. I'll be able to tuck a picture in there. And then for this bat, same thing. I have just a tiny little bit of glue up near the top so a picture can stick down. So that's kind of a tip if I'm making base pages, especially in mini albums like this. I always make sure that I make the pages flexible enough to be able to add my photos wherever I want to, or some journaling, or, you know, who knows what might happen. And then also on a few of them, I added some outlining, but that's something else that when I'm putting my pictures down, I might turn around and add more outlining to some of them later on as I'm bringing it all together and putting the finishing touches on. Even here with this eek, you can see I'm just putting some baby powder on the tops of them so that it can stick down, but I can still tuck my picture in. So here is basically my finished album, as finished as it's going to be right now. I got all my little embossing pieces down except for two of the jack-o'-lanterns. I think I want to add them into some sort of little ribbon embellishment onto the hook. So that will be, you know, kind of coming in the future. I definitely won't get rid of them. I'll just make sure to do that. I'll attach it to some ribbon, attach it to some cord or something like that. But this is my album. I think I have 28 or 29 tags, and then I plan to do a couple of pictures cut into the shape of the tag just to have some bigger pictures too. So that's where those extra days will be made up. But I love how this turned out. I think it's so cute. It's super darling, simple, quick, easy, just a really, really fun project. You can see more details on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Yeah. Ooh, look at this one. I love that one so much. Yeah, but that is it for me. Thank you so, so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please check out all of my links below for scrap shots, and I'll put Emerald Creek down there and all of my socials so you can go and follow me on all of my other accounts. I really appreciate the support. You guys are absolutely amazing. Please click subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me questions down below if you have any questions or I've gone over something too quickly. But that's it it for me for now. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.
Thanks to me. She button to my channel.